Hello, I'm Mantastic and Fantastic, and today I'm going to be discussing and talking about the Final Fantasy ranking tournament. So, as part of the Final Fantasy celebration that's going on, there is a special ranking tournament that coincides alongside of it. However, this ranking tournament differs slightly in the sense that we are able to actually receive a crown if you score in the top 2%, which differs from the top 1% of the previous ranking tournaments, so more people have a chance at the crown. Furthermore, we are actually using a fixed team, and this helps even the playing field as everyone obviously has the same team. No one has an extra advantage because they have special cards, and this can be seen as a blessing for a lot of players because it means that they may be able to achieve like the top 10% to unlock the quest badge rewards, and it also helps players score a lot higher than they normally would. However, if you are chasing for a crown, there's a lot of randomness because you can't build a team that caters to your playstyle. You're forced to use the same team, and you have to just really get lucky if your board spawns. So, as with any ranking tournament, we receive 5,000 points per combo made, or average combo made total. We get 500 points per second remaining, and we get up to 10,000 points if you hit 40 million damage, which is the damage cap. So I've posted one video here, it's 115,708. I've actually improved upon that by 3,000, so I'm actually at 1.1 or so right now. I didn't record those two runs on my accounts, but just imagine I was 6 seconds faster. And as for the team, we all have this fixed team. However, I'm going to be looking at the leader skill first. So we actually use Noctis, and Noctis is one of the new Final Fantasy characters, and he's one of the most popular, most desired, and he's probably the strongest leader of all of them. However, this ranking dungeon does not take into account his leader skill buff that was announced by Yama P, so we have to deal with what he is presently. However, it's still a very powerful leader. You actually have up to 81 times attack, as the other parameters don't matter in a ranking dungeon. And you are unable to actually match connected 3 orbs. You have to match 4. If you don't match at least 4 plus, the orbs just remain there. And it looks weird, and it can mess up your comboing. And it also lowers your overall combo count because there'll be sometimes boards where you can only make 5 combos, sometimes even 4, just because of the bad distribution. So Noctis is scaling leader skill. With 3 combos you have 20.25, 4 is 36, 5 is 56.25, and 6 combos is 81 times. So this is great because your leader skill scales up very quickly, so if you are able to make lots of combos, you are able to hit very high damage. So I'm just going to showcase like how this Connect 4 looks like. I'm using an account that just sits around, doesn't do anything. I just tinker around with it every once in a while. But I want to show you how it looks like here. I'm not going to complete the dungeon. But if we match a 3 like this, a 3 and 3, nothing actually happened. No combo is actually made. And that's just weird. It looks awkward, it looks weird. So if we do 2 prongs, like this, it'll actually trigger enough damage to kill the floor. I'm going to explain how much damage you need for each floor to see when you want to go. So it looks weird, but you have to get in the habit of matching these 2 prongs. So it can be problematic. Like you usually want to get one row at the bottom like that, and then start kind of stacking. I'm just going to show you like your orbs in a vertical manner, like that, alongside of it overwards, because just the way the spacing works. So you have to play around with it and just see like what is comfortable for you and how you can match those 2 prongs. So I'm just going to ignore this run and go back to talking. So on your team, these are all the cards that you have at your disposal, how much their attack value is, and their relevant awakenings. So it becomes apparent that you have lots of 2 prongs, which is great because you only can match 4, and you actually have double killer awakenings on your both Noctises, Nocti, and this allows them to hit 3 times harder against certain floors. In fact, all the floors are devil except for the 4th floor, so you actually have an advantage on 5 of the 6 floors. And even though Sephiroth actually has 3 killer awakenings, you actually don't get to benefit from any of them because none of the enemies are attacker, gods, or machines, so he actually just a double 2-prong sub of high attack. So when you're going through the dungeon, you want to obviously go as fast as you can, match as quickly as possible, and know what the bare minimum is to sweep each floor. If you sweep each floor on the first turn, you're probably going to score top 10%. Obviously, the faster you go, the more likely you're pushing up towards that crown. So in this dungeon, this is the general strategy. Like, obviously, if you make 6 combos, you can alter these numbers. You may not have to match dark if you make 6 combos because you have 81 times. but this is like the most common scenarios for each one. So in floor 1, we want 4 combos, and you actually just match light. Whenever I say a color, it means assuming TPA. So with 4 combos and one of them being light, you don't have to match dark, and you actually kill the first floor, so you save your dark orbs. On the second floor, it's 4 combos, 1 dark, or 5 combos, 1 light. I'm going to add that in actually later. On the third floor, you need to make 3 combos only, with one of them being dark, so you can go very quick there. On the fourth floor, you have to make at least 5 combos, and one of them is dark. The fifth floor is probably the most problematic floor in the dungeon, I'd say, because it has a 50% damage reduction, so you have to hit much harder than you normally would. However, you have to make either 5 combos with 2 of them being dark and 1 light, or 6 combos with 1 dark. And you may have to use Noctis, but you have to be careful Noctis overrides orbs. So it's a very problematic floor to try and one-shot. Like, there's a lot of luck involved, at least for me when I'm chasing really high scores. I have to arrive in the floor with a good board. If I don't have a good board, it's just over, and it's just frustrating. And on the boss, they have 24 million health. However, what you're going to do is you make 6 combos with 3 darks, and that should hit the damage cap in most cases. So what you want to do is use Cecile, and then you use one of the following, either Sephiroth, if you had lots of dark orbs to begin with, to enhance the orbs, or Noctis. You're doing this because you want to hit that damage cap, because if you hit that 10,000, like 40 million, you get 10,000 bonus points. So this is kind of the gist of how you go as fast as possible through the dungeon. You also want to make more combos if it's convenient and not too time consuming, and you just want to go as quickly as possible and try not to use an active if it's not necessary. So for instance, lightning's active makes the whole board reset, but that's not good because you waste time with the animation and you can't plan your move in between floors. So use lightning if you need to use it. If not, don't bother touching her. In an ideal world, you only use Cecile. That's an ideal world. You just use Cecile and no one else, but to get that kind of luck is kind of ridiculous. So as for additional advice, you want to actually turn off the mass attack. Oh, sorry, you want to turn off your skills. Mass attack, it may lag, may not. But if you turn off your skills, you actually save yourself time. Like, actually, if I transition back here. Oh, I'm still here. Look at that. Like, if I were to tap a skill, like, say, lightning, it just activates right away. It doesn't actually go through the animation of, do you want to use this skill? Whereas, by comparison, if I turn it back on, and I want to use, say, Yuna, which you never, ever should, it will say, do you want to use this? Yes. So you wasted more time because you had to click extra buttons. So always go to options. You can do this outside the dungeon. Skills, and turn them off. So when I made this article, I actually hit 115,000. I basically was just 6 seconds faster in both cases, I believe. And I'm at 18,700 on both accounts right now. So in conclusion, the Final Fantasy ranking dungeon is actually quite an exciting time because it gives players the opportunity to score higher than they normally could because of the fixed team. However, using Noctis is not always the easiest option because you have to match 2 prongs, you face the issues of not enough combos, and it can be frustrating, and there may be a lot of failed runs because of that. So hopefully this video is informative. Let me know how successful you have been in this dungeon. Have a mantastic day, and happy puzzling!